And even when we do see him, sometimes we don't even recognize him. We never will until we respond to his personal call. Mary, and turned toward Jesus as she did. Notice Jesus doesn't say to Mary, "Ta-da, it's me." Jesus, the one you're looking for. He doesn't say to Mary, "Stop crying, woman, it's all good." And he doesn't scold her for her lack of faith. He simply met Mary where she was. In fact, let's give Mary credit for staying in the moment. Remember what the other two disciples did? They went on home. I don't want to admit it, but they raced to the tomb, didn't see Jesus, then went home. And Mary stayed in the moment, and Jesus met her there where she was at in her grieving. You know, Jesus meets us where we are at. Jesus is there with open arms saying, "Come, I'm here." Grief is real. Loss is painful. Unemployment stinks. Relationships can break your heart. And we need to say so. We need to feel it. If someone in your world is hurting, if you want to share hope with them, the best thing to do is meet them in that moment. Ask them to tell you about it, and then sit still long enough to listen. Sometimes people just need to talk, and they need to share, and they don't need you to respond in any which way. Sometimes we need to listen to people and keep our mouth shut so that we can meet them where they are, so that they can share their pain, and that we can share it with them. We need to stay long enough to hear, stay long enough to listen. And Jesus said, "Mary." And there was something about the sound of his voice, something about the mention of her name that opened her eyes and her heart. It was him, Rabboni. It's a term of affectionate respect. And suddenly she had a reason to believe. Notice that it wasn't enough for Mary simply to confront the evidence of the resurrection, the empty tomb, the angel's announcement. That wasn't enough to convince her. She needed something more personal than that. She needed a real encounter with Jesus. And we need the same thing. Those of us who struggle with the resurrection, we need evidence. And there's plenty of it. An empty tomb, written records, biblical and non-biblical, the transformation of the disciples, the emergence of a brand new faith, the great divide in human history, BC and AD, the changed lives of people you know. But we also need something personal and something experiential. And that's what the Lord offered Mary that first Easter morning, there at the tomb. Suddenly he was there, more real, more powerful, more glorious than she had ever known him to be. And because of that, she had hope. Jesus had proven that he was stronger than death, stronger than evil, stronger than all the bad things that can happen in this world. And as Jesus starts talking to Mary, she threw her arms around him and was clinging to him, the way a child clings to their mother or father when they're leaving. She didn't want to let go. She didn't want to lose the moment. Yet Jesus said to Mary, "Do not hold on to me. Do not hold on to me." He's telling her that he's still going to be with her and with all of them, but not in the same way he was before. He's going to return to the Father and send his Spirit to be with them, to be in them always and everywhere. And he still has work for her to do, a message to share, more life-changing, more earth-shaking than she ever imagined. She said, "Go and tell my brothers, tell the world that death is defeated." The same message that was given to Mary is given to us, and we are to do the same thing that Mary did. Go into the world. Tell the world that death has been defeated, that Jesus Christ is at the right hand of the Father, waiting to return for his children. The message needs to go forth. Jesus is not returned, therefore the message is not over. The message continues to go. Wherever it is that we go, if Jesus is in us, we should be taking Jesus with us. I am risen, and that's what she did as she told them. I have seen the Lord. You see, hope is not a what or a when or a why. Hope is a who. And the who is Jesus Christ. There is no other hope. Hope is Jesus Christ. He's that someone. His resurrection proves he is stronger than any setback, any failure, any loss, any disappointment. If life has a way of killing dreams, Jesus has a way of bringing dreams and new dreams to life. That's not to say we always get what we want or that every bad thing can magically be undone. Life doesn't work that way. I know sometimes we wish it would, but the reality is it doesn't. Life doesn't work that way. Not everything is good. But it is to say this, that God can and will do something good with our future. Mary didn't get exactly what she wanted. Jesus wasn't going to be with her the way he had been before. But he was going to be with her in ways she never dreamed possible. There was still a lot she didn't understand, and she didn't know exactly what the future held. But she knew it would be good now that Christ had risen from the dead. And that's what hope is. Hope is the confidence that God can and will do something good in this life and the life to come. Whatever circumstances you may find yourself in this morning, whatever pain, whatever loss, whatever disappointment you may be dealing with, God can do something good with it or even in it. That doesn't minimize the pain or the loss or evil of it. It simply means the story isn't over yet. The story isn't over yet. God can and will meet you in that place, in that moment, as sure as he met Mary in her dark place that first Easter morning. In this life, we can still find joy and beauty in forgiveness and healing and purpose and restoration in the reality of God's powerful presence in our lives each and every day. We can do more than we ever imagined. We really can. But we must look towards Jesus, not just with our eyes,